Hi guys, welcome to episode 1 of the Larrie Weekly. I'm Samira, one of the 6 hosts, and today's episode will be about Larrie Proof and what made each of us Larrie.
So in this episode, each of the admins will give a short explanation on which Larrie proof made them a Larrie and why.
If you want to look at the media, pictures, or videos we talked about, it will be available on our YouTube video, Instagram, and in a Twitter thread.
So before we start, I'd like to make a shout out.
Shout out!
Shout out to Nilly, aka at our_brave_Louis on Twitter for catching the last week's salt and vinegar reference.
So Sofiane's talking, and so my proof is not really proof, but the way I became a Larrie was through Freddy's My Queen videos at the beginning, I think, of 2014. So if you don't know who is Freddy's My Queen, then you're lost, guys. Yeah, you have to know. You have to know the queen. But anyway, so yeah, that was like a big YouTube channel doing some little editing, episode analysis. So their channel went private, and all of her video are unavailable now. So I think they had to deal with threats of doxing and other like pre-doc stuff. But you can still find pretty much all of their video on Larrie's My Home on YouTube if you have never seen it, because that is a shame. Anyway, so I don't think I have like one video, like one proof in particular that like really made me Larrie. But, like as I said, like I'm really skeptical as a person, but I think that her whole like channel gives a pretty good view like of the Larrie word. And so it was, I think, a combo of multiple like videos and different topics that makes it like everything so logical that like you cannot really be even like skeptical anymore. I don't know if that made sense.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And so I just like wrote little like videos I really liked and I think really made me think about like Larrie and everything. Underappreciated Larrie Silencer moment analysis theory. Jealousy video is great, and one is also super famous and it's really great. Harry Styles, You're the Womanizer, which also talks about like the roles that One Direction had to like embody in like with the management control and everything. It's a really good video. I don't know if you know her, guys. I guess you do.
Yeah,
maybe you do.
Yeah.
Great person.
So this is Scar talking, and the way I became a Larrie was years ago. I saw this Larrie marathon video on YouTube, which sadly is not up anymore. It was taken down for some reason. But about halfway through, so like 30 minutes into the video, I remember seeing this one proof, which was my first crush was Louis Tomlinson video, and that was the proof that completely like made me into a Larrie, but it was also everything in the video adding up to that, but that was the one that really like hit me. So for anyone who doesn't know what that is, Harry was talking to an interviewer and it was just him, it wasn't the rest of the band. And Harry said, "My first real crush was Louis Tomlinson." And then the interviewer says, "Who?" He repeats, "Louis Tomlinson." And then the interviewer said, "Louis Tomlinson, how does he feel about you?" And Harry said, "It's mutual, we've discussed it." And then the interviewer goes, "Yeah, that's beautiful, Harry." So, yeah, that
You actually
one...
know it by heart, which is
yeah, I do know it by heart.
Yeah.
But yeah, that I guess, you know, it's definitely possible, like people say, that was a complete joke, but with everything else adding up to it, like it can't just be a coincidence or anything. And he sounds so genuine when he says it. It doesn't sound like he's being sarcastic at all. So, yeah, there were definitely a lot of proofs that went into like me becoming a Larrie, but that was definitely the one that really caught my attention. And after that, I looked into Larrie a bunch more and found all the other proofs, and then I became a full-time Larrie.
As you should. As you
It's a
should.
full-time job.
Yeah.
Takes so much time.
Yes, being a Larrie is like a full-time job, to be honest.
Yeah, you think Larrie, you drink Larrie. It's hard. It's hard.
You eat
Yeah.
Larrie.
Hey guys, it's Britt. So today's podcast is all about the proofs that made us a Larry. If I'm being honest, being here for 12 years, I can't really think of one moment necessarily that was like, yes, that's it, I'm definitely a Larry. I was discussing it with Scar before. I honestly just believed that I was like born a Larry. I know that sounds weird to say, but I mean in the sense of when watching them do their performances on X Factor and then watching them be put in the band together and seeing both of them on stage and how they reacted and running and jumping into each other's arms as quick and as tightly as they did was like that main moment. So I guess you could say that was the beginning of it, but it was more so of like a feeling or an immediate observation that was like, oh my God, these two, there is something there. And then obviously we get the whole like confirmation of kind of that when we look deeper into the lyrics for like Rock Me With, Do You Remember Summer '09, which we'll talk about in a later podcast. But I think that really factors into that being such a defining moment and the fact that was that first moment between the two of them that we publicly saw in light of it before we got the backstory of it. So I think that's would be uh the main the main one and like the initial one for me. But then also I do just want to mention what made the Summer '09 thing stand out for me was, like I said, when they were first put into the band together, it was more so of a feeling or an observation that these two have something. There's got to be something there. It was just, I don't know, like I can't explain what exactly that feeling was or why I thought of it, but that's what that feeling was, is that there has got to be something there. And I think that the reason it stood out was because then over those few years when we then got Rock Me in 2012 from memory, um and that Summer '09 lyric was in there, it made even more sense. And then it was more so of like, hey, wait a second, um, that lyric makes sense. Those photos that we were getting make sense. The tweets that were done around the time make sense. The whole Battle of the Bands thing makes sense without going into too much detail, because we'll talk about it in another podcast. It started to make even more sense. Um, and then the other thing that I wanted to mention that always just like continued, I'm going to say, the belief or the realization that yes, they are together, yes, this is something, is the mirroring, which again I know we'll talk about in a later episode. But the fact that these two are so in tune and so connected to each other, and it's like the unexplainable times when they are so in sync. Like, yeah, anybody can move or dance or like say something at the same time when music is playing, or when a question's asked, or when the situation implies for it to, like, me and my friends do it. But I'm talking about those minor movements or the facial expressions or the points in time where all through those interviews and the performances and the shows and everything that we've seen, they're just so in sync, like exactly at the same time, in the same way, without a second thought. And you can see that it wasn't like they thought about it. It wasn't like it was planned. It just happened, and it was so in sync and so aligned that it made sense that it was the two of them. But yeah, so I think those two would be the main things, and that's obviously not one thing, one moment over the year, like over the years, that was like, yes, that's it, that's my moment that I've decided that I'm a Larry. It's those several things over time that's just added to it and added to it that make it make sense.
I'm Samira. And for me, there was like no actual proof. Um, for me, it was just moments, like cute moments. So yeah, how I discovered Larry was I was Googling something about Harry. I think I wanted to see like if he had a girl or something. And then I saw like our Louis Tomlinson Harry Styles dating. But yeah, I was like, what, like, dude, because I thought it was like, yeah, like a bromance thing. I was like, damn, like, okay, we'll check it out. So I pressed. And then And then I went on YouTube, like, cause like, you know when you Google something and then it shows you like videos. Yeah, so I pressed on that. It was like, I think it was like moments, like Larry moments that were caught and like they weren't supposed to be or something. So I was like, okay, like check it out. So I pressed, right? I thought it was gonna be like a funny video. So I saw it and then I like watched like a few minutes and I was like, I mean, it could be a reach, like sure, why not? And then one of the clips was a Video Diaries clip. And I was like, hey yo, like, bro, what is this? What is this? This is not straight behavior. And then like I was like, damn, bro, like it actually could be. And then I watched another video and I was like, bro, this is like not, yeah, they're dating. They're like together, like this is so weird. And then I like looked into it. So yeah, like the moment that clicked for me was Video Diaries because that's kind of not straight, kind of birthday. So.
Really funny because you just said, like he kind of discovered Larry like through video diaries and things like that. And like I think the way I also like discovered Larry for like the first time was like I was really like a big fan of Five Sauce, and there were like so many videos of I think Michael and Luke.
Yeah,
big thing also. And well, I think we will talk about it like in another episode, like difference of romance and bromance. But like, so I was watching their videos and I was like, oh yeah, great. And so I was seeing like a bunch of Larry videos, but like so many Larry videos, and I was just like, why is there so much of that? And I was like, why is the fandom so big actually? And so I just clicked, and then I was like, first of all, I was kind of confused because actually Michael and Luke, I think they had like so many videos of them which were, it was not like romance, but they were like super close, like really close, like closer than Larry. And so first of all I was like, but why are people so big in that? And then like I looked up like the tattoos and everything. It was just like, bro, this word crazy.
Yeah, I was gonna add something too. Just that like if it stays, it's not a rumor. Like rumors are things that go away, and like for it being 12 years now, it's like if it weren't true, it would be so unnecessary, and everyone would have realized so much sooner that it wasn't real if it actually wasn't. But because it's been around this long and like there's just so much proof going for us, like there's just no way that it's not real. And it's sad, honestly, that people are trying to shut the Larrys down because like it's closeting in the music industry is so like it's just such an important topic that needs to be talked about more. And I think it's absolutely ridiculous that people are trying to shut us down for something that they're calling a rumor, which clearly isn't, because rumors don't last 12 years.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was like a lot. I just felt like that needed to be said.
No, yeah, you're right. Like, and the thing is, like, it's not like theories that we've made up. Like, genuine, actual big celebrities have talked about it.
Yeah.
Like, what's her name from That's So Raven, I think, and like that guy from Pretty Little Liars. Like,
yeah,
he was closeted, and he's a grown man. So,
exactly.
Like, what? That's it doesn't add up.
Yeah, it's just sad, honestly, and I hate when people only look at the like sunshine and rainbows side of Larry, because it's honestly not like the full story is genuinely so horrible. It's tragic.
Yeah.
It is actually tragic. Yeah. And that's why like but I also really want to like speak about it like in a full episode. But like I also think that people do not believe in Larry for most of them because they think that we are psycho, we're crazy, which also goes with actually misogyny when you think of it. Like because like most of people in the like One Direction fandom were girls that were like pretty like young at the beginning, and so people were just like, oh, okay, so they just believe in this theory because they want those two Jews that they love to date because like, oh my god, I love this boy, I love this boy, I
Yeah.
want them to date, you know?
Yeah.
And whereas maybe at the beginning for some people it was that, but then like when you look at the whole like Larry community, most of them are just people that want them to be happy, be able to like actually not be closeted, and
Yeah.
like it's not really just about shipping two people, you know? Like,
Exactly. And it's not like for personally, I feel like the definition of a ship these days is you wanting two people to be together that aren't together,
right,
but that's not what it
right.
is. We're trying to prove to everyone that they are being closeted. And like that's not a ship. That's just us trying like supporting them in
Yeah.
like wanting them to be able to come out. Like what about that says that it's a ship, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. No, honestly. And the thing is, like, honestly, most of this fandom isn't straight. So, like,
Yeah.
it's not like, oh, I like this guy. Like,
Exactly, because people are like, "Oh, you just want them to be together because you like both of them." It's like, no, actually,
no, we
we
don't.
like we're trying to get them out of the closet because they're currently being forced into it.
Exactly.
Hey, I'm Priya, and one of my favorite proof or the video that I would say would be Larry Stylinson singing to each other and Larry Stylinson lyric changes, especially in Little Things. Love that video. That was that moment that I'm like, all right, he's seriously singing to the other person that I'm in love with you and all his little things. I mean, come on, it is Louis, you know. He
Yeah.
would never allow anyone to sing that to him other than Harry.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, how whipped can a man be?
Yeah. And I think like Harry also said multiple times that like Little Things was
Exactly.
like a good, like a great song, or like also that he like it was one of his favorite songs of the
Yeah, but it was in the same interview that Louis said, "Are you talking
yeah.
about that interview?"
I like my favorite song was like is I Love You First. You mean
Yeah,
that
it
one?
was. He said it was "I
Yeah.
loved you first," but the song is
Yeah.
actually called "Loved You First." It's just like, ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. The lyrics and the lyric changes always get me. Like,
Yeah,
Mhm.
oh
like
my
it is Louis
goodness.
we are talking about, right? So if
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
was on his shoe,
and yeah,
like
and the one
someone
where
is singing directly at me. So if
yeah,
it was anyone else, he would call them
yeah.
out. Like he would torture them.
Honestly, like, what did you say?
Exactly.
Yeah, and like the one where Harry and Louis were crying while singing, and then Harry just walked off stage because it was too much. It's like, guys, how do you see that and not like how does that not process in your brain as Larry?
Yeah.
I'm gonna cry.
Like
Damn.
that whole situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I do think like, are we seeing the same video?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, are they like? It's almost like being colorblind. Like that's the best way I can describe it. It's like it feels like we're looking at the same thing, but they're seeing something else.
So right now we're just gonna do like speed round. I ask one question and everyone answers pretty quickly. So the question for today is, what is your favorite Harry and Louis era? So Scott, do you want to go first?
Sure. So my favorite Harry era is definitely Prince Harry. Um, Obviously none of them are bad. That one's just my favorite. It has a special place in my heart. It's just perfect. And then my favorite Louis era is probably his Hedgehog era. I'm in love with it. It's just amazing.
True.
Okay, my favorite Harry era would probably be like first HS slot Harry. And my favorite Louis era would be Prince Hair Louis. Honestly, absolutely incredible.
Okay, so favorite Harry era? Obviously, long haired Harry. It's a big debate between Prince Hair Harry and Long Hair Harry, but I think Long Hair Harry ultimately wins. Does it need an explanation why? Okay, favorite Louis era. Honestly, I think Hedgehog. And I don't have an explanation as to why. He's just really cute and he looks so soft, you know?
And so mine for Louis, I would say Prince Hair Louis. Prince Hair Louis is insane.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's incredible. Perfect length. Yeah. And Harry, I would say like love on tour Harry, like those little like curls and everything, kind of like Californian vibes. It was great. I like that. I like that. It was great.
Definitely excited to see what's gonna come this summer.
I am so thrilled, especially for like love on tour like Europe. I feel like we're gonna have some great hairstyles and hopefully also outfits.
For sure.
So yeah.
We want to know what proof made you, Larry. Be sure to let us know on Twitter and don't forget to tag at the Larrie Weekly. That's it for today, folks. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Larrie Weekly, and we hope you've learned something new. If you want to be a part of this journey, don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at the Larrie Weekly to keep up to date with all podcast-related news and exclusives. See you next Friday for new refill.